football at its absolute best.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
I love it, baby.
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
McGrath for the win. He got it. If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Ready to do and welcome in to More Important Issues. Today is Thursday, February 27th. Tennessee wins one against LSU on Tuesday night. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about baseball heading to Houston this weekend for a little better competition, I would think, than we face so far. And then you have some football news because football news is year-round now. And so is NIL and everything else. So we're going to talk about that and how annoying it is and a bunch of other stuff. If you have any questions, drop those in the chat. We will get to those throughout the show. Joey Boots, welcome in, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. You caught me up on that intro, dude. I guess the bat flip one's still plugged in there for the intro. So
yeah, that was my bad.
No, it's all good.
I was seeing how quick you were to change it. That was pretty quick. I like that pop-up time.
It said 20. Yeah, you know, that people stuff. Well, it said 20 seconds, and I was just like, damn, I guess margins are getting thin. We had to cut the intro song. So I was like, all right, 20 seconds makes sense. That's fine. But other than that, we're rocking, baby. I'm ready for this matchup this week. I know we got to talk about LSU, but I'm getting fired up for Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. The weather's getting better. It gets me. Let's get a little standing O for the weather.
We'll give it. I'll give it to it. I'll give it to the weather. I will give it to that. But I know it's playing games with me because I think it's supposed to get a little chilly again next week.
It probably is, but I'm going to take it where I can get it. I love going outside and not having to wear a jacket. That is the best feeling ever.
Yeah. Even if it's like, it's a little chilly. Like I had to run down to Walgreens, get a couple essentials. Just had to wear this polo. A little nippy. That's okay. I'm fine with it. I wasn't freezing. I could survive. I could survive with no jacket. We're good. A little vest weather. I love throwing on a little vest.
Yeah, or just like little sleeves. I just hate wearing a full winter jacket.
No, it's awful.
It is not fun.
You can't look good in a full winter jacket.
No, you can't.
If you're rocking the puffa.
The puffa.
I mean, I can rock
it.
I'm
digging the weather. We get to play golf on Saturday. Joey did get the invite. He turned me down. That's okay. That's okay. Next time.
Dude, I got to be there for the boys. I got to be front row.
I get it. You are giving your all for Tennessee, and I really do appreciate it. You are going to miss the baseball games, so I guess you're giving your all for Tennessee basketball and not Tennessee baseball. But, we'll take it.
Hey, my energy's got to be diverted somewhere.
So what time are we getting in line for the student section on Saturday?
Well, it's been kind of a work in progress because a couple weeks ago we're like, game day is definitely going to come. So this could be a 2 a.m. wake up, which we were committed to. That's fine. Woke up at 6 last time. So then it was no game day and a noon game. So I'm thinking still getting in line by like 7:30 or 8. But now it's 4. So we're staying on our toes over here. So I don't know. Maybe get a couple of breakfast beers in, get in line around 11:30 noon, something like that. I mean, I'm sleeping in. I love that. I could sleep until 10 probably, maybe 9:30.
I like that. Are you do you want Bama?
Yeah.
Bring
him to me full of steam ahead. I don't care how hot Mark Sears is in a basketball way. I don't care. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say.
I catch a pause every show. But yeah, I don't care. Bring them all. I'm ready.
Love it.
I'll be there front and center. I'm usually
Who's your guy that's going to get it the worst? Do you have one picked out already?
Here's my issue. Is I usually end up being close to the bench, so it usually is just like the no-name white dude on the end that just pisses me off because he's getting way too hype.
That guy is actually one of their best players in Grant Nelson.
Then whoever their next 5'8" white manager dude is. I mean,
okay. Well, this guy's 6'11", but
okay,
yeah.
I'll see the difference for sure. There's always. I mean, Mark Sears won't even play enough or sit on the bench enough for him to even hear me. But I mean, I don't know. I want to. It always it changes. I see someone's face and they piss me off, and I'm just locked in on a new target. I don't remember if it was Florida was definitely what's his face, that tall curly haired kid. But God, what game was it? It was when Vandy came back. There was two guys at the corner right at the end there.
Okay.
Didn't even sniff the floor. Kept their warm-ups on the entire time, which is fine. You need those guys, right? But know that I'm going to give it to you when you keep turning towards the fans and like I'm going to say some awful stuff about your family. So like that's just
Jordan Cup said the 5'8" white guy. You're definitely going after Nate Oates.
True. Oh, Nate Oates is not clear of this either. I mean, I've still got Brandon
Well, just
Miller.
be careful because, I mean, you never know when somebody on Alabama's team is going to have a gun. So
I was about to say I've still got plenty of those jokes loaded in the chamber, no pun intended. But I'll make sure to buff up the security at those player entrances, Tommy Bull, if you're listening.
I do appreciate Nate Oates just like defending his players to the end. I mean, no matter what, he's like wrong place, wrong time.
It's a ride.
Just like Lady Vols, wrong place, wrong time. Yeah, they are getting.
Are they getting tronched? It was like 6-20 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, it's not good. I don't know what the actual score is right now, but it was like, I think like 40-something to 20-something.
37-63.
Damn.
Yikes. We usually are a high offensively efficient team, so I would assume it's just getting absolutely swarmed on defense. They also have 65 with 3 minutes left in the third, so they're hot too. But damn.
Yeah, I hate to see that. But
Talijah Cooper's got 14.
Well, I mean, it's just not Tennessee's basketball year against Kentucky, I guess. I don't know what it is. But it was Tennessee's time against LSU, at LSU. And I know, like, LSU, their record's terrible. They're 3-12 in the conference, 14-14 overall. They have been playing a lot better, and I don't think they're not the worst team we've faced so far this season. They got some guys. They're young. They're just going to struggle in this conference with as many good teams as there is. But I think they kind of held their own. They're a lot better defensively than I thought they would. Offensively, I don't think they're that great, but also Tennessee's defense is really good. First half, again, just not there. Don't know what it is, and somehow you find yourself with a 3-point lead. I thought that was something because I was like, I don't know if we can play any worse. I think Tennessee had 8 turnovers in the first half, ended up with 11 for the game, so was a complete shift in the second half. And is this becoming a pattern? Because there's been a lot of games here lately where Tennessee looks terrible in the first half, and the second half they kind of turn it on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, I feel like a broken clock at this point. I feel like you and I kind of have ran, what's the little hamster wheel that keeps spinning? Feels like we just keep circling back to this. Like you're finding a way to win, but then it's like the streaky, and there's always something to point out and kind of having to lean on somebody. So we are kind of talking about the same thing every time we talk about this Tennessee team, for sure. I know. I'm starting to get like a script down, which is fun. Like I think the motto going into March is like you just have to be hot, and when, for this game's example, when Igor and Jordan Gainey aren't really producing, then Chaz and Zakai and Felix have to step up and be damn near perfect. And I know we tweeted out that Felix was perfect. Like you just, that's really all it is. Like you're not going to get the same consistency out of the same guys that you needed. This isn't like some of the other powerhouse SEC teams where there's one or two guys that you can guarantee are going to go get you probably 15 points, 5 or 6 rebounds and 5 assists consistently. Like you're gonna be streaky, and then if the rest of the team can pick up the weight, you can. I mean, I know LSU looks like they picked up their players off the intramural squad, but I mean, it doesn't hurt. I mean, I feel a little bit better that we went on the road into an empty Pete Maravich dome and still got a win. It doesn't hurt. But
yeah, and I think one thing to take away from this game is I thought this was Felix Okpara's best game as a Tennessee Volunteer. Now, can that carry over? We'll see, but I think he was extremely efficient. I think they found ways to get him the ball around the basket. He made 3 free throws. He had an and one in there. He had 7 rebounds. He had 2 offensive rebounds, 2 blocks, 15 points. I mean, just as efficient as it gets for a guy that has been like more of a defensive guy and catches lobs every now and then. But I think he could be a weapon for Tennessee. And I think they need to utilize him a little more and find, hey, guys, like it's a lot easier to shoot right next to the basket than it is behind the 3-point line.
Yeah, we talked. God, I mean, it kind of feels like it's been the main story since conference play started. Was like, I mean, you find a team that defensively just like won't let you penetrate, and that's just where we get cold. Because if we're not shooting hot from the 3-point line, we can't get in there. We can't penetrate for worth a damn, and that sucks. Because I mean, Felix is a unit down there. So I'm glad that we've kind of, since we started talking about that, been seeing some movement. Yes, shoot the 3 if it's still working. And I am a fan of, shoot to get hot, but I like to see us mixing in Felix a little bit. He does work the paint really well on that defensive side. Like you said, I feel like, I mean, I don't know the last time there was a game where Felix didn't have a block, and not even a stat block. I mean, like a nasty swat. It feels like at least once a game he's sending somebody's ball to the damn rafters. So yeah, I think the more that you can open him up and utilize him, especially down below the basket, that's absolutely massive going into March. He's just that glue guy. I feel like he's a good glue guy.
Yeah, I feel like Tennessee has a lot of these kind of glue guys. Like Jemai Mashak, like there's times in the season where, I've been this way and I know other people have been this way. Is like, I mean, he's given us nothing offensively. And then he has one of the games like he did last night where he hits a 3, he gets going a little bit, ends up with 9 points, gets to the free throw line. I mean, that's what Tennessee needs from him to be more aggressive. I don't need him to be a Chaz Lanier. I don't need him to be a scorer. I need him to be aggressive offensively, and points are going to come. He's athletic. He should be decent around the rim. He cleans up. He gets offensive rebounds. He had 4 last night. I mean, or Tuesday night. I just think that he's a guy that you need that from him, especially if you're going to win in March. If you're going to beat a team maybe you shouldn't beat, or maybe like it's a kind of a toss-up on if he can win, Tennessee has to have a good games from Jemai Mashak. He can't go over and, be kind of a non-factor on offense. Tennessee needs him to be aggressive to be at their best, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we've slowly kind of seen him gain confidence back. I know that there was a time where it just didn't look like he had his stroke. It seemed unconfident to shoot it. It was almost like it's like back in rec ball when you're like, I got this wide open 3, but I'm about to get flamed by all my buddies in the stands if I miss this. Like,
yeah.
It's even in shoot around, he just looks like he's trying to still figure out his shot. And so just game by game in the last, I guess, 4 games, it looked like it's, been some confidence building back. Because I know we spoke a couple weeks ago to the fact that, like, Jemai's kind of a nuisance on offense, like great on defense and has to be out there in the starting role. But, like, when you swing to the offensive side of the ball, it's kind of like dragging around dead weight, and it feels like 4v5 a lot other than just a guy to keep swinging the rock. But, yeah, I mean, I think if he can – I mean, he almost dropped a double-double last night. If he can just get in there, and again, like you said, I don't think anybody expects Jemai Mashak to go score 20 points in a game and, carry the Vols to a win. But go do your part. go get almost 10 rebounds, go make your free throws, go score double digits in those minutes that you have. Just produce offensively enough, and I think he's working towards that.
Yeah, I mean, if he can be efficient like that offensively and also like get an assist here and there, get some steals, get some rebounds, I mean, it might not look like the superhero that, maybe a Dalton Connect was, but it's so valuable. And Tennessee desperately needs some of that, especially when you're going cold, because this team does it. And I can't figure it out. I think they need to hire maybe like a rocket, maybe NASA comes in and like study this team of why they go cold sometimes for such a long period of time, and then they can turn it on. They get to the locker room, take a little break, and then they can turn it on in an instant. I don't get it, and I think it's been exhausting for Tennessee fans. I mean, we're sitting here like Tennessee could really be a 1 seed for the first time in program history. And I don't think this team has been talked about as one of the best teams to come through Tennessee.
No, it doesn't even feel like the
Fair or not. It just seems that way because of the offensive struggles.
Yeah, I know at the beginning of the season on paper, I was a big fan of the fact that I think on paper this is the best team that Rick Barnes could have, at least in the last 4 years, but maybe in his tenure here, at least again on paper. And we kind of needed to see that play out. Obviously, you struggle with some depth issues, and it's not where you want to be. And the offensive hasn't produced. I'm looking at the box score right now, and it's like, okay, you've got 9 guys listed. The starters, 15, 17, 14, and 9. But then you've got Igor starting, had 4 points. Cade had 1, Bishop 0, Gainey 5, Dubar 0. It's like that second, like you might as well, you got 6 points from the bench, which, okay, we would have tied technically if you don't get those 6 points. I feel like that score is a little misleading. Like they kind of had they almost mounted a comeback a little bit. They tried, but I think we were up like 11 with like a minute to play. So, but it's just like, yeah, it's depth the factor. It doesn't feel like that 1 seed where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, that Grant team and Admiral team was like,
it's just not dominant. Like it's just not.
Yeah. Cause like when you hear a 1 seed in tournament, you're like, okay, these guys floor really obviously upsets are upsets, but these guys floor should be an Elite 8. If you are a 1 seed, it should be like, unless you just catch a Cinderella team in the Sweet 16, you should be making an Elite 8 because, you've made it this far, you're a 1 seed. I'm still not confident that this team can make it past the round of 32. I think a hot team, which we see every year, we see a couple of them. I think a team that gets hot in the first half comes in and buries you and you look like shit going into halftime. I don't know if this team can get hot enough consistently across the board to mount that comeback, especially like in a neutral environment. It worries me. So talking about being a 1 seed, but not being confident to get past at least the Sweet 16s, just messing with my head.
Yeah, and then we go beat Bama Saturday, and everybody's like,
exactly.
Oh, yeah,
and it's every loss we've had has been end of the world. Everyone thinks that this team's done. Rick Barnes' job's gone. Again, like we've done the discussions we've had. We overreact and we underreact. Go beat Bama. I know it's at home, but go beat Bama, and it's just an extra stack. Now I'm like, okay, and even I'd rather just go destroy Bama, but maybe you're down 10.5, and it's like let's regroup and or God forbid we're up 10 going in a half and have a slower second half. I'll even take that. I would love to see the Vols have a good first 3 minutes of basketball.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this team needs to get out to a fast start. I think it's going to be tough to, you talk about it in March, like you slip up in 1 half, that it could be too much to overcome, and that's it. Say goodnight. Luckily Tennessee has come back from some of those deficits, but it's definitely not ideal to get down, especially when it's win or go home. And I think that's the worry from Tennessee fans, and rightfully so. I mean, this team lost to Vanderbilt. But I will say this, and I don't know if this is I don't think this is gonna happen on Saturday, but Tennessee is 13-1 when holding a team to under 60 points.
I think this is also our first win that – what was the stat? Something about Chaz Lanier dropping less than 16 points. Like, this is the first time he did it, and we
won.
Yeah, that doesn't feel like it could be right, but
it might be.
He's had some dud games, but maybe those are just all the games that we've lost. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, it's – they got 59. They got damn close. You said 13-1 holding teams under 60?
Yeah, I think the only team that beat us was Auburn.
Yeah.
And that was a game that, I mean, looking back, depending on a call, that probably goes the other way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, it just speaks to the fact that, like, your defense is doing the production. Like, if your offense can just get to that threshold, like, if you can go score 65, 70 points in a game, let your defense hold somebody under 60, especially in conference play. I don't care if we're playing LSU. Like, the SEC is so insane this year that those stats make you feel more confident in the tournament, and because you're seeing basically the best competition in the country besides a few teams.
And I know this ended up being a lot closer than what it actually was. LSU, like, there was kind of a lapse from Tennessee to end the game. I think with a minute 30 left, I think LSU ended up scoring 10 points. They hit a three that was kind of wide open. They had the cylinder foul on Jamal Meshack, which we don't even see anymore, but they brought that back. And he gets hit in the nose with an elbow, but it's a foul on Meshack, which the guy jumps forward. He doesn't jump straight up. So that was one of the dumbest fouls I've ever seen in my entire life. But I do think this game was sealed. Tennessee just had to make some free throws to ice it, and it was kind of over. One thing about free throws, Tennessee missed 8 of them on Tuesday night. That's something that's got to get better. Igor can't go 0 for 2. Chaz, you're a really good shooter. You shouldn't miss a free throw. I mean, your best free throw shooter the other night, the only person who went perfect was Felix Akpara. He should be your worst.
Yeah.
So Tennessee needs to get better at those as well.
And you made those twos you made those 2 free throws when you needed them, even though, again, that comeback was kind of, I mean, it was 61-46 with 3.5 minutes left. So I know that's a lot of time, but you're up 15 at that point. You had a 99.8% chance of winning. Like, it felt sealed. And that's also not, like, that's not something I love to see. If you're up 61-46 with 3.5 minutes left, you should be able to keep at least a little tighter margin than let it get to 6 points.
With this defense, absolutely.
With this defense. Because I'll tell you what, a swing like that in March, again, with the right team, I need to see that clock at double zeros. You could be up 12 with a minute and a half left. And I'm like, dude, if I see Doug or was it Jack
Golke?
If I Jesus, I'm not trusting for a second that he's not going to go bang 3 threes in a row from the damn logo. Like, you got to be able to close out game. If you can get that good of that well of a margin, might be the right wording. You need to be able to sustain that, because I hate seeing that little closure at the end, even though it should have been sealed with 2 minutes left.
Yeah. Well, let's get to some questions about Tennessee basketball. The first one we have here is, what is your overall thoughts for March? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Maybe a combination of the two?
It goes back to, like, what we've been saying. Like, I'm excited. We could be a 1 seed for the first time in team history. That's fantastic. But the fact that I'm still worried with that being the case, like, speaks a lot of volume. I guess I'm nervous. Yeah. I mean, I think this team can make a super deep run if they get hot and stay hot at the right times. But I don't have too much confidence that this team couldn't get blown over by a hot Cinderella team like we've seen year after year, or not even a Cinderella team, just a team that plays better than you for half a basketball, and that's all they needed, because you couldn't play consistently for 40 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's just like all the teams going into March. Like, no one is just dominating anyone.
Right.
I mean, Tennessee had Auburn on the ropes at Auburn, and should have won that game, I would say. So I don't think there's just anybody that's just head and shoulders better than anybody else. And that, I guess that's nerve wracking, but it's also like, it's going to be fun.
Oh, it's going to be the dude.
I don't know how it turns out for Tennessee, but it's going to be fun to just watch as a college basketball fan. But yeah, there's just no one that's like that much better than any. Like, I think there's probably like a top 7 or 8 teams right now that you're like, yeah, probably all those teams could win it. And maybe there's a different tier, but even that tier, there's not like a huge gap.
No,
Like,
it's not the big drop.
The difference between like let's say a Kentucky and Auburn or a Texas A&M and let's go Duke. I don't think that there's not a huge difference. Like, there's not a UConn from last year in this field. So I do think Auburn's probably the best team right now, but also Tennessee did have them on the ropes. So I mean, we saw it firsthand that I think anybody can be beaten, and that's what's going to make March so much fun. But it's also, man, Tennessee could lose in the round of 64.
Yeah, and that's like the thing is I don't think Auburn, Alabama, Houston, Duke, Tennessee, Florida, none of those top guys are like, I don't think any of them have the expectation that, a Final Four should be I guess I'm saying, like, I'm not trying to make Tennessee sound in a dire situation, because I think they all are up for grabs this year. Again, that top tier that I just listed, mixed with the, more mid-range teams, the talent level, like the gap's just not nearly as big. So it's not a Tennessee only issue. And I don't think it's maybe an issue. Again, maybe it lines up to be one of the most entertaining tournaments we've seen in a long time. So, I mean, from a Tennessee standpoint, obviously, yeah, you're a little worried that you don't show up and can't play consistently through March. But at the same time, that's March. That's how the tournament works. That's why I think personally, it is a testament to the best team in college basketball, because you ran the gauntlet, because you can get the best basketball team in the country can get cold and be out in the first round from a team that no one's heard of.
Yeah.
But if you can somehow go beat, what is that? Is it six games that you'd have to win? 64, 32, 16, 8, 4 championship. So, yeah. I mean, if you can go win 6 games, that's every team. So Tennessee's not that unique in that sense. Maybe I'm a little bit less confident in their consistency, but again, you get hot at the right time, no different than Bama or Duke or Auburn or Kentucky, Texas A&M, any of them getting cold at the wrong time. It's going to depend on the matchups, and seeding will have a factor of that. Do you think this game will have an impact on seeding if it plays out down the line?
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably the winner of this Alabama-Tennessee game is probably a 1 seed. Now you got to go take care of business after that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I do think probably the winner is looked at with it being this close to Selection Sunday. I definitely think this game is going to be looked at, and because it's probably one or the other. I mean, Tennessee. Here's the thing with Alabama. Is they have to play Tennessee, they have to play Florida, then they have to play Auburn. That's a brutal schedule. So even I think it's more so for Alabama, because they've lost some games in conference that they shouldn't, and now they're in the meat of their schedule. So if I do think it helps Tennessee being at home, like maybe it doesn't kill Alabama, but they have to win the next 2 games to be a 1 seed.
I guess if Bama does have to play Florida, if we beat Bama and then Florida still beats Bama, then Bama's probably out of that 1 seed contention. Because right now, Florida, if Tennessee beats Bama and Florida beats Bama, then Florida's going to be in with us, and it would be at that point. It's just a matter of whether you value Duke and Houston's, how much you value Duke and Houston's. Like if they obviously keep their stock up, and then it would be. And Auburn wins out, and us accordingly. I know it's a little early, but that would be the 4 that you're looking at, with Bama just on the cusp of that 2 seed. So,
yeah, and it was going to really help Florida out if Tennessee were to beat Bama and they were winning at that point, but then they lost to Georgia. now it's like they kind of have to beat Alabama to be in that 1 seed discussion.
Yeah, I was about to say, because now if we beat Bama and Bama goes and beats Florida, what happens to Florida?
I mean, they're probably a 2 seed.
Yeah. Yeah, because with the matchups, I mean, we split it with them. I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like, but I don't know that they've lost to any worse than us.
Yeah. Here's the thing with Tennessee. You take care of business on Saturday and you win against Ole Miss and South Carolina, 2 teams who just aren't that great. You're a 1 seed for sure. I don't care what happens in the SEC tournament. No one cares about the SEC tournament. It's irrelevant.
What if Florida
go
goes
win
and
these
wins?
next 3 and you're a 1 seed?
I don't know. They might select the committee. Might be weird if Florida goes and somehow runs the table and wins the SEC. I could see them being like, well, I don't think they will, but and yeah, Jordan's right. They have the Bama's. I mean, if Texas A&M and Bama, those could be.
I mean, they got a tough schedule to end too.
Yeah. Bama's in the meat. Florida's half meat. I mean, I would out of those 3 teams, I'm happy to be in the position we're in after Bama.
Yeah, I mean A&M. It looks like a more winnable game than it has been because they just look atrocious the last couple games. But yeah, we'll see kind of how it all shakes out. I am excited for March Madness. I think it's going to be fun. I think Saturday is going to be a fun environment. What time is the game?
4 o'clock p.m.
Okay.
That's why I clarified that.
Bama has scored triple digits in 8 of their games this season. They have 6 guys averaging double figures. They're a good offensive team. They also gave up 110 points to Missouri, so they don't play a lick of defense. I think that helps Tennessee, but they also can score. So it's going to be 2 opposite teams. Like they couldn't be more different in how they play the game. So it's going to be interesting to see who like can Bama like, you know, can Tennessee muddy it up and make Bama like uncomfortable and Tennessee is able to get enough offense with a really bad defensive team? Or is Tennessee's defense good, but it's not good enough to hold a Bama team under 80 points? I don't know.
Yeah, I unfortunately think it's the latter. I mean, I'm confident as day. I'll go in there, but like when you got a team like Bama that just wins in shootouts, I don't know if even if Tennessee can hold their defense to 75 points, I don't know if Tennessee can go score 75 points. Like genuinely, like I'd rather be on the opposite side where I'm Bama and I'm like, look, even if this is the best defense we've faced all season, we might only have to go put up 70 or 75 points to beat this team. And when they've been putting up 111 and 115 and 102, like I definitely be more on their side than ours, but you're right. Maybe they can muddy it up enough at home. Maybe that Bama just has a really cold offensive game.
Well, it's a rivalry, and these 2 teams are pretty inconsistent. So whatever I think is going to happen is not going to happen. So I honestly don't know what's going to happen in this game. I think it could probably be a little bit of both, where Alabama doesn't score enough or doesn't score as much, and Tennessee is able to score a little bit more. I think this is a close game. Now, if Alabama gets hot out of the gate and they're up a ton, I just don't know if Tennessee has the offense to come back against a team that can score like Alabama can. But, you know, Aiden Holloway, Mark Sears, I think those are smaller guards. Tennessee usually does pretty well with smaller guards and doesn't let just one guy beat them. The Grant Nelson kid is something that is going to be interesting. How do our bigs kind of hold him in check? Averages around 8 rebounds per game, 12 points per game. Like, can they, hold him? He's a guy that can shoot. He can rebound. He's kind of long and lanky, like a Fulkerson type. And also we got to stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah.
They're going to try to get to the rim, shoot threes. Do not foul a 3-point shooter, please, God.
Which is hard because there's like 4 of them on that damn team.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, don't foul anywhere, really. Don't foul unless it's in the damn paint.
Nobody foul.
Yeah, just don't foul. That's an easy solution.
Don't give Alabama any easy points. That's kind of where we're getting at here. Do not give them easy points. Make them earn everything. If they earn everything and you end up losing a close one, whatever.
Well, yeah, because in these games that they're, again, like in this game when you are trying to narrow that gap as much as possible between them being an offensively dominant team and you were just trying to play good enough defense that you can even just hold them to 75, you go give them, I mean, even 8 made free throws for them could absolutely tailspin us. Like, you can't afford to give up more than like 5 free points at this point. Because, again, unless you were able to hold them to 60, I think their lowest, like, they played Ole Miss. I think the lowest they had was 64 all year. Other than that, it was like 75 and then like 85 a couple times. Like, even some of these good defenses they're seeing aren't holding them to like incredibly low score. So if you go give them 10 to 15 free points, bye. Like, I don't, unless you just get hot and we shoot over 50% from the three and have 12 or 13 3-pointers, you're not going to be able to keep up with that offense. You're just not. And so don't make mistakes, which I think is honestly going to, if the game comes down to being close, I worry that you're right. The foul trouble and the mistakes could be what gets you. And you have literally zero room for letting that up.
Yeah.
Is Pat Adams on the call? Do we know? I know we don't know yet, but I'm terrified that he's going to be.
I don't know. I have no clue. I was trying to look at like how in the world did Missouri score 110 points in a game?
I just think that they I don't know, it's getting hot.
This is a Chaz Lanier game. I mean, you want a team that's not going to guard you or not going to face guard you and bump you off the 3-point line. This is the team that's going to do it. You want a team that is going to test you and like, hey, can you make more threes than me? This is a Chaz Lanier game. I mean, he should thrive in this game where it's like, hey, who's your best shooter?
Yeah.
Lanier better be you.
Oh, Jesus. I think it's also a chance for Gainey to not Gainey, Jemai. I do want to see, Gainey look a little bit more confident. I know he loves that elbow jumper. Like, you're not going to see a lot of contesting there. You're not going to see them play up on you. So drive in and take it there if you're comfortable. Obviously, if you have more room, get all the way up there to the basket. But for Jemai Meshack, it's like, dude, if they're going to let you shoot, don't psych yourself out. Like, you're going to have a couple good looks. Take them. Like, don't think twice. Don't swing it. If you got an open look, shoot it. That's the thing for Saturday. It's not, ooh, let's run the entire clock down trying to look for the perfect shot. If you got a shot that they're giving you, take it. And if we just can't beat them offensively because it's not falling for us, so be it. That's how the cookie crumbles. But we can't be sitting here wasting time trying to score offense because they're going to give you some shots, like you said. And this could be a 12 3-pointer game for Chaz. I mean, go drop 40. Why not? But Felix is going to have to do some work down low, like you said. With
they got a pretty good big and Clifford. He's I think he had 15 rebounds in a game last week. I mean, he's pretty solid big for them. Where you're able, he gets a ton of offensive rebounds because all they do is shoot threes. I think they shot 31 threes against Missouri the other night. So I mean, they're going to shoot a lot. Tennessee can't just find themselves down. I don't think 10 points. Like, they need to
exactly
keep it close, keep it in striking distance, or hey, jump on Alabama early. Like, let's give them a little taste of their own medicine. And
wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, that would be fun. Let's drop 100 bomb on them.
I just need it. Dude, in the last couple times in Thompson, it's been so dead. And I know this won't be. I'm glad that we have a non-noon Saturday game. Like, I feel like we need a late afternoon game. I just think it helps the vibes. Let those students get a little bit more drunk. Let the people have a little bit more time in traffic. But God, that place it's been dead for the first 5 minutes of basketball because there's a lull. Go bang a 3 and go up 10-2 in the first 3 minutes. for the first media timeout and get that place fired up. Get Sterl out there throwing T-shirts. Give me some
more T-shirts.
More T-shirts. What kind of budget are we rocking with? They're throwing 50 T-shirts a game. I want 200 T-shirts.
Yeah, that was a big. Our boy Deuce, that was a big thing from him. They didn't throw enough T-shirts. He usually catches one when he goes to a game, and they didn't give him enough opportunities to get one.
More T-shirts. That's what the Vols need to win. But realistically, I do think if you can win the rebound game and stay out of foul trouble, then it comes down to you just being able to keep up offensively. And at that point, that's just on your shooting.
Yeah.
Like your defense is going to do you. Stay out of foul trouble. Get the boards when you get them. Make your free throws. You just got to play fundamental basketball.
Let's do it. Let's take care of business. Let's play Dixieland Delight after the game in TBA. That would be awesome. Also, guys, go check out our good friends at hoviedrygoods.com. You got Joey rocking the hat right there. Get your hats today while they're hot. You can get 15% off your first purchase with promo code MORE. Again, promo code MORE at hoviedrygoods.com. They got some new hats coming out. They're awesome hats. They make you look good. I mean, Joey's usually a 9.5. With the hat, he's a 10. Backwards hat, he's 11.5.
Dude, I'm just saying, like, this isn't – I'm not even, like, doing tricks on it because, like, sponsorship or anything. Like, dude, when a hat fits well, oh, my God, don't even get me started, dude. It's like I told you, I got this weird head, bro. Like, I've got a weird head. Like, when I just find a hat that just – and you know me, I told you, I'm always the last two buttons. That thing's holding on for dear life. I got a big head. But God, it fits nice. It fits the cranium well. I don't got all this. Some of them I feel like are getting up here. They're too tall. And then some of them are too flat brim. Like, I'll wear anything, but it looks good forward and backwards.
Yeah, dude. It's right. They do it right over there. Guys, go check them out. Again, use promo code MORE for 15% off that first purchase. All right. It's football time.
Somehow in late February, we're talking about transfer portal.
Yep. I do miss a few years ago, and I never thought I would get to this point, that I miss the days when the worst thing about college football was targeting. That used to be the worst thing. I used to complain about it all the time, and now it's like, man, I love targeting now. Like this crap that the NCAA has done and just open up this can of worms where, like, now you have these student athletes, and I'm not dogging them because this is just where we're at. They have more freedom than professional athletes.
Yeah.
I mean, they can renegotiate their contract whenever they want. And we have this spring portal, which is just a huge waste of time. But now you have guys threatening to jump in the portal if they don't get more money. And I'm not dogging Rickey Gibson for it because that is his right to do so. And I agree. Like, I mean, he thinks he's cornerback one. Like, I don't hate him for that. I wish it was just like, hey, I'm gonna earn it. I would like to see more guys like, hey, if I get this many picks, I want to renegotiate my contract. I don't know if you can do that, but that's what I would like to see. I would like to see a little bit more of production, and then I get this. Let's get a little bit more bonus structure than just like, hey, I know this guy got hurt, and I know y'all are in a bind, but I need more money or I'm out of here.
My issue is that we knew this would happen when they opened the can of worms. And there should have been immediate trial and error to figure out a system. And I know that there is, but it's in the long run, there needs to, like, we should have figured this out way faster along the way, the way to set guidelines or set some restrictions, some way to contain it, because it's getting out of control. And you're right. Because the thing with the NFL, right? Like, you're treating it like it's a pro contract. If I feel like I'm not being rightly compensated, I can go to my office, right? I can go to my front office and talk to them and feel like I'm being treated unfairly. And they might, basically tell me to F off and turn around. But my options are limited in terms of, okay, well, I don't think I'm being paid enough. There might be a couple teams in the league that have the a role for you and are willing to pay you as much. But there's something about job security in the NFL. In college, there's 40 teams right there out there right now that are knocking on Rickey Gibson's door like, we'll take you, we'll pay you more money. Like, we'll do it right now. And he's like, why would I stay here if I've got 30 other colleges telling me they'll pay me as much and I can go be CB1? I don't blame the kid. It's the way the system is now, and it's not his fault. You got a young kid that doesn't know if he's going to go play professional football. He's going to go get his bag while he can, because I would advise my own kid to do the same thing.
Yeah, the only kind of complaint I have about the Rickey Gibson thing is you didn't have to go public. You could have just went. You should have could have just stayed behind the scenes and been like, "Hey guys, like I need more money. I'm cornerback 1. Y'all need me. I need more money. I know a lot of guys got that. I need that same kind."
And Caleb and I talked about it on the Chase Thomas podcast just this week. If all this could happen behind closed curtains, it'd be fine. I would assume that his agent is telling him to go public with it because it gives you the most leverage, right? I mean, especially with Tennessee's fan base, because we're talking about it right now, and that's how you build leverage, is saying, like, the front office freaking out about losing Rickey Gibson's one thing. All the fan base included now puts that much more pressure for him to get paid. And so again, from a standpoint, it's like, it's probably what he's being advised to do is like what Mike Matthews did. It's like, I'm going to go leave. Like, you guys better find me a better system and pay me some more money. And they're like, well, now we got, 100,000 angry fans. Fine, we'll do it. And again, it's leveraging, and it's I don't think it's slimy. I don't think he has any negative intent in that manner. I just think it's such a loose concept and construct right now that it's the Wild West, and it's just, you're going to start losing kids that you thought were your number 1 in that position next year. I mean, with Jermon McCoy being hurt, like, you cannot afford to lose Rickey Gibson right now.
And that's where I see it from both sides. Tennessee can't afford to lose Rickey Gibson, but at what point are you just like, no? Like, no.
I know.
I mean, if that's what you want to risk, like, at some point you kind of have to call somebody's bluff. And if they leave, like, you have to be okay with it, because if Rickey Gibson does leave, is Jalen McMurray coming in there and being like, hey, now I'm QB1, where's my money?
Yeah.
I mean, when does it stop?
Well, you got to go be able to refill in the portal like that. That's the thing is it's so much easier for these guys to leave and say, oh, you're not going to give me more money, I'm out, than it is to pull back in that talent. Because then you're just going to find a guy that wants more money, and it's going to be a lower level player, because that baseline, like Rickey's baseline, is now what this, guy coming out of the portal thinks he's worth. And it's like, it's probably a downgrade. Maybe 1 out of 10 players is actually better and you didn't know yet, but it's probably going to be a downgrade. I couldn't imagine if Rickey Gibson actually leaves, us finding someone in the portal, in the second portal window, to be better than him in that position.
Yeah. And so here's my kind of like, here's kind of my thought on if I'm Tennessee, like, how am I handling this? Hey man, we'd love to have you back. We would love to take a look at your contract, see what we can do. And if Rickey Gibson's like, all right, cool. Like, I'm cool with that. If not, if he's like, I need this amount and you're not really willing to pay that, I mean, you got to look at the stats. He's got no picks. I mean, QB or cornerback 1's got no picks. Like, what are we paying for? And I hate to be that way, but that's let's call a spade a spade. Like, I mean, Jermon McCoy is absolutely worth that money. Rickey Gibson, I'm sorry, but you haven't earned it on the field for me to just pay you an astronomically large amount of money to do the same thing. I mean, cool. You had 1 forced fumble and 3 pass deflections. I mean, can a freshman do that? I don't know. I don't think you want to lose Rickey Gibson, but at the same time, you can't just lose
right
every bit of leverage that you have, because I understand the players have all the leverage in the world, and that's not going away. And there needs to be some sort of repercussions if somebody wants to get out of a contract, or we need to have like, this is for this amount of years, and if you want to get out of that, you have to buy that out. Like, there needs to be some sort of, I mean, no one's being held accountable for it. That's the issue, is like, I want more and more and more and more. I mean, it's never going to stop. And fans are already at the point where it's like, I hate spending more money. I'm done with it. There's a $20 processing fee to pay for season tickets that went up even more, or 10%. We got to pay a $20 processing. It's just little things like that. Fans are so sick and tired of, and it's not going anywhere because you have stuff like this happen where the university is going to keep asking for more money to make these student athletes happy, and they're never going to be happy. The fans are probably never going to be happy. So at some point, college football is just going to suck.
It is, and it's awful, because it's like, again, you open this can of worms and you knew it was coming, and all you asked for was some structure and some construct along the way to just baby step it. You opened the floodgates. You didn't baby step it. You didn't slowly say, okay, well, we'll slowly let NIL. We're gonna, instead of just opening the can of worms and just boom, take it. Oh, let's have limited options for players to be able to receive some NIL contributions. Great. Oh, these guys finally get some contribution efforts. Now we're talking about multi-million-dollar contracts for guys that haven't even touched a college field yet.
Yeah.
And it jumped to that immediately. And what do you expect? You got kids that are worth multi-million dollars. Dude, I was the cockiest 18-year-old in the world. If you would have told me I was worth $3 million, I would have walked into any office in college and been like, pay me. You don't want to? Buy. So it's like you're working with a bunch, like, and the gut punch is like the fact that you're right. The university is asking for all this more money. So then we should be in the opposite of the situation where actually we're not only bringing guys in, but definitely keeping the guys that want to be paid more because we're pulling in more money. It's a lose-lose. It's like, so I'm going to go pay more money each season to see more players leave because we don't have the money to pay them. Make that make sense. Make it add up. Where's the money? Personal story here. Went and bought my cap and gown today for graduation. First off, I have to pay for it. Stupid. I pay, I don't know, something like $20,000 a year in tuition. You think you could slip in a piece of fabric for me? $90 in the checkout for my graduation, where you're supposed to click. It's basically the equivalency of like the little turnaround tip chart. They ask if you want to donate right there when you're checking out to buy your cap and gown. I'm like, bro, let me get my diploma before you start asking for money. Ordering a cap and gown, and you want to add $20 to this order for the UT fund? No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And that's kind of why I like the whole Tony Vitello thing, and maybe it's different, but from the outside looking in, it very much seems like, hey, we're here to win to get you your big contract. That's what Tennessee is doing is pumping out prospects. And if you make, NIL money here and there, like, that's great. And that's a lot of that is probably on you to go get that in. But like now with the Vol Club and everything, it's like everybody wants that piece of pie and doesn't want to do anything for it. Like, it was cool when you could do like ads here and there, like the Weigel stuff. Like, that stuff is cool. But now people are just like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do anything but play football, and I want to get paid a lot of money for it.
Dude, we talked about it on the podcast.
More money than you're worth. I mean, let's
agreed.
say that. There's a lot of people that want this kind of money, and they ain't worth it. And they'll go somewhere else. Like Rickey Gibson, it could work out well where he's a really good player. And I think he is a really good player for Tennessee. But he could go to, let's say, Ole Miss, because Ole Miss is just throwing around stupid money to have guys for a year, and then they're off somewhere else, or they go pro or go work at a car wash. I don't know what they do after. But like, he goes somewhere else and it not work out where he's not a starter. And then you just wasted. You could have been CB1 at Tennessee making what you were making, but instead you want to take something public, renegotiate your contract that was probably already renegotiated it was in probably December. And here we are 2 months later, after Tennessee is dealing with a teammate of yours went down with an injury, and now you want more money. It just
that is
the greed of all of it is just sickening. And that's probably just life. Everybody like loves green. I get it. But man, it is.
I get it too, but dude,
like, it's making college football just suck.
And it's great
because
for
it's out there a lot more than any other sport. And I know basketball deals with it some, but nothing like this where you're having to like renegotiate your whole roster basically every single second of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And like we spoke to it, you're not seeing it in other sports. Obviously, football, there's just so many more players that it's a larger scale and it brings in the most money out of all the sports. And like, that's just where you're going to see it the most. But you're right. Like, it kills me that we're like assigning these valuations to kids that have not proven. Like in the NFL, that draft, like they're so well that they've earned, the 10th overall draft pick. You know what you're paying for, and they could be a bust, right? But you didn't lock yourself into changing the entire, organization because you went balls to the walls on a 17-year-old kid. So it's just like it's this loop where it's like when they opened it up, I thought it was going to be some, again, Wild West for the first year or two, and then it would be like, okay, wait, tightening the belt way hard. Let's suck this back in. Let's get it back under control. But then it's like I haven't even seen measures that and we're over here dealing with getting baseball players cleared because the NCAA wants to focus on holding people back.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point where I'm just like, I'll just see who's on the team in the first game and not really care too much about it. Like, I guess, like, we pay the coaches a lot of money to figure that crap out. I wish I could get to that point and not care enough. Unfortunately, I do, and we do have a show that we have to do, and we do keep up with this, and we do want to win, and that comes with good players. But, man, it is just exhausting. Just the fear of losing a really good player like a Boo Carter, a Mike Matthews, Rickey Gibson, like that stuff's getting old quick. And that's just kind of three stuff. That's kind of three guys that has been public. I mean, I'm sure there's been more with other players that just hasn't been as public, but man, it is exhausting and it is getting old very fast. I hope they do something, at least just take away the spring window.
The fact that
you're locked in for a year.
Yes, and
or you're not going to play football like Cam Carr is not going to play basketball. You do something like that, whatever.
Yeah, like hold it back and at least make the restriction where it's not like there's no reason not to threaten transferring right now, other than moral grounds. Which I do think if anybody can do anything, Tennessee at least. Which I guess you're just hoping for the goodness of people's hearts, but like you have a team meeting, and you're like, hey, we're gonna work to get you guys what you're worth. But at the end of the day, this is a business for you guys. But at the same time, this is a team. Your immediate reaction to the postseason ending up how it did shouldn't be to go have a Mike Matthews, Boo Carter, Rickey Gibson, potentially Nico scare. Are we going to start just being like, well, half our team might, what are we even going to, we're going to end the season and not even have any clue who's going to be back next season because we've got 2 windows that we might just lose the entire team.
Yeah.
There's no confidence. Recruits are the most consistent players now. And they never used to be that way.
Yeah. I mean, let's have a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
You sign that out of high school. It's a 2-year contract. Yeah, you can transfer if you want to, but it's a 2-year contract where if you do not serve I guess serve isn't the right word, but if you want out of that contract, what do you have to do? You have to, that team or that collective has to buy you out of that contract. I think that would cause a lot of, I think it would, save a lot of people, or not save a lot of people, but it would.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
It would be a lot less wild west if you had some sort of parameters in place where there is sort of repercussions if you want to renegotiate or anything like that.
And it's not like it's going to strip the players of their negotiation, right? It's like a front office still values a player thinking that they're worth more and wanting to work with that player. Right now, it's just that they are able to leverage the worst case scenario is that I'll leave and never talk to you guys again and go play for another team. If you make a contract, at least it's, hey, really don't feel like I'm getting paid enough here. so much to the fact that I'm willing to be bought out of my contract and go take my talent somewhere else after a year of waiting because I haven't met my obligation or whatever.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, we're going to do our best to keep you here. And now you can't just walk out the door because we said no. Now you're like, okay, they're only giving me half as much as I thought that they should because I really don't feel like waiting a year and leaving schools and getting bought out of that contract. Like, you got to add some sort of middle ground. Because right now the teams and the coaching staff are just getting screwed over.
Yeah, well, and that's why you're losing so many great coaches in college football is because they're done with it. They're like, I'll just go to the NFL where I don't have to deal with this.
Nick Saban got out at the right time.
Yeah.
And the coaches are like, this isn't the college football that I coached. And that's just, it's synonymous across
and
the
then
board.
they're gonna oversaturate the what's the college football playoff. There's going to be everybody's going to schedule as easy as possible to make the college football playoff. It's getting bad. And I hope there is, I know that college, football, basically players association, like I know they get together. I think there needs to be a big conversation of like, how are we making this game better? Because right now it's getting a lot worse. And maybe they don't see it that way, but you ask any fan in college that is a college football fan, I think they're all kind of sick and tired of the same thing.
Can we unionize as fans? Like, let's just strike.
I mean, that's kind of where I'm at, is like I'm getting to this point where I'm like, I'll just see who's on the roster come the first game, and that's what I'm going to care about. I mean, there's no reason to care about recruiting in any sport, really. There's no reason to. I mean, even if you have a really good freshman, you're like, okay, you got some playing time. I mean, you either play them and they think they're worth more than they are, or you play them or you don't play them and then they leave because they're not playing. Like that's just, it's a balancing act and it's annoying. And I get why coaches are done with it because I'm done with it as a fan.
It's even like the player's perspective. And I know they're not all like that, but it's not, let me go see how well I can play in a season to get my team as far as possible to win a championship. It's let me go show how good of a player I am. So now I have many more opportunities and options after that season, which again, for a young kid that doesn't know that they're going to go make money professionally in the sport, I get it. I totally get it. I'm not blaming the players. Mostly not blaming the players. Some of them are just taking advantage of it and it's fucked up. Got to be the structure, but you just, it's devaluing the sport, really.
Yeah.
College football right now, at least, unless they can turn it around, doesn't mean as much for a team than it used to.
Yeah.
100%. Those players are all in there worried about how they can get their NIL valuations up. Yeah, championship would be great, not solely because of the purpose of winning a championship for what will one day be your alma mater. No, so you can get a $1 million raise on that next NIL when you leave that team and try to. I mean, Jeremiah Smith could go get a horrendously large bag right now. He doesn't care. I mean, yeah, there's maybe some passion for Ohio State, but he's worried about his bag.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Rickey Gibson is a good player. I think I'd love to keep him. I think Tennessee would love to keep him, but it's kind of the ball's in his court. I mean, he has all the leverage in the world right now with Jermon McCoy. Jermon McCoy comes back, then, I mean, can you make the contract was like, hey, we'll pay you this amount until Jermon McCoy gets back, and then you're going back down to this? I don't know. I'm just that's kind of what I'm wondering. Like, yeah, you want this bigger contract, but hopefully Jermon McCoy comes back and you're not CB1 anymore. So, again, is it worth it? Is it worth it to Tennessee? And that's the question they got to ask themselves. And Rickey Gibson also has to ask that for himself. Is it worth going to the transfer portal, starting over? I know I have a starting spot at Tennessee. We're winning football games right now. Is it worth all? Is that money worth it to him? And we'll see kind of how it plays out from there,
I guess.
Let's shift a little bit from football to NFL, but still Tennessee players. James Pierce running a 4.47 40.
Yeah, that's the
Fastest among defensive linemen today.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. I know he's kind of dealing with some. I don't know what it is, but there seems to be around the league talking about his character issues, and don't really get it. Guy hasn't been in trouble that I know of since he's been on campus. I know he doesn't talk to the media a whole lot, and dude just plays football. I mean, yeah, maybe he didn't have the best grades coming out of high school, but who cares? I mean, the dude goes and gets the quarterback. He's super productive. And yeah, did he have the year he had last year this season? No, he didn't. But he was still super productive. And Tennessee just really benefited from him being on there, like everybody else benefited. Joshua Josephs benefited. Omar Norman Lott benefited. Amari Thomas, Bryson Eason, all those guys really benefited from having a guy like James Pierce, who just, I mean, I think he saw more double teams. I think
he got held a lot.
Yeah, he got held a lot, missed some tackles, and it is what it is. I think the character issues, I'm not seeing that. So I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know if that's just blowing smoke somewhere to if it's coming from a team that just wants him to fall to them. I mean, I respect that, but I don't know where that's coming from at all. I mean, if that was gonna come up, that would have came up when he was projected like top 5 in the offseason.
Yeah, it's not like, again, there's no way that it was some sort of spark like that we didn't hear about. That if you want to say production was the reason he went from mock drafts having him as the number 1 overall pick to now Mel Kiper not even having him in the first round, fine, we can have that conversation, right? Like you said, was he as productive? No. But I think he has enough raw talent that he wouldn't get dropped out of the first round for. I haven't heard any, like it would have had to be something pretty egregious that would have broke for anybody to move him outside of the first round strictly based on character issues. Personally, someone would have heard something. It can't just be this guy is, this guy has some issues, in the locker room and stuff. Wasn't a problem when you guys were grading him 8 months ago.
Yeah. And going back to the Rickey Gibson thing, that's a guy after his sophomore year deserved whatever he wanted, basically, at that point.
Yeah.
He was your best player on defense, so you definitely needed to have him. Sorry to kind of go back to that, but it just kind of came up to me. But he didn't. Or he at least didn't make it public that he wanted that kind of money, but whatever. And he wasn't going out there and getting the, spokesperson for this, but because that's just not him. Like, I don't know if he just doesn't like it. What'd you say?
He's a quiet guy.
Yeah. It just
wants to play a game.
Yeah.
And I think he's doing that. I think he's got enough talent. Look, it's one of those things where the combine, like, people know how athletic he is.
Are you really going to let him fall to the Eagles? Like, are we really going to let this happen?
Howie's waiting there. I'll tell you right now, if he falls to the Eagles, I don't care what they need, and it's not a lot, they're taking him. And they can use him.
100%.
Eagles would snatch that up, and everyone would go, "Hey, idiot! Why didn't y'all other 31 teams take him?"
Yeah.
Character. I don't see it being a factor enough. The NFL has a fun way of weeding itself out. Like, if you do miss a guy, and he is that talent, he's going to work his way through, and he'll be starting, and you'll see it, and you'll go, "Damn, this guy fell." But and so be it. If that just probably makes him more hungry and makes him want to go work harder. So
the guy's faster than AJ Brown.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts. I mean, that is crazy that he ran that at 6'5", 260, I think is where he's at. I mean, that's insane. So character issues or not, I don't know how you see that and think like, oh, he's another Jalen Carter. I mean, there's been zero news of anything about his character.
It would have had to be some big story or something like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of speed in the 40-yard, look at Elijah Simmons. Look at that refrigerator just move. I mean, that boy was huffing and puffing, but at the end he wasn't like crazy out of breath.
Yeah, 5'3" at 334 pounds. That's a big load.
And they had highlighted that he lost 30 pounds, which it's one of those things where it's like, dude, I don't know how you had 30 pounds to lose, but awesome.
360, that's 6 foot 360 is, I mean, that's a car.
Dude, I've still got the picture of him somewhere carrying two dumbbells or two barbells like they're dumbbells. Like, dude, I mean, that guy's always been big. It was a full circle moment. They talked about today that he had been on stage when Nashville had the draft, and J.J. Watt had tweeted, get that boy in the league or something like that, just because he looked massive compared to everybody else. He's just got a big face too. Like some of those guys, some of that weight just goes in their face, and it's awesome. But yeah, I mean, shout out him. I hope he can get the praise.
The voice of an angel too. I mean, he can. Yeah, I think a team should definitely take him because, like, you don't have to pay for somebody to come sing the national anthem. He will do that in full pads.
Who do you know that is 6 foot 334 and can run a 5.33?
5.38, I think is what it was.
5.38 and can dunk on 10-foot rim and make a full court shot, technically,
and hit that high note.
It's impressive. Yeah, I mean, this even if this guy doesn't like, I feel like he should just.
I mean, this guy's Admiral Schofield of Tennessee football. Please take him.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll kind of keep you up to date of the Tennessee players going through the draft process, but yeah, I think if you're a first round team and you need an edge rusher, I think you should take our boy James Pierce. I'm cool at 8 with Carolina, taking the kid from Charlotte, getting him back to Charlotte. I'm all in on that. I will take that.
This is the picture I was talking about.
Yeah, what in the world?
I mean, it looks like they made a mini and he's carrying around little dumbbells.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I just love to see it. Anyway, all right, what's next on the slate?
Yeah, let's go to
we're going to baseball?
Tennessee baseball.
Wow, look at that. How many games are we in? 7?
8 games.
8 games in? It's flying, dude. It's my
8
last
games
sport
in. Tennessee won the midweek against North Alabama. Kind of got tighter than it definitely should have been. Bats went cold. Tennessee threw Johnny Holstaff. The main takeaway from the midweek game is A.J. Russell is officially back on the mound for Tennessee. Look out the rest of the country because the man's already throwing 96. It's kind of chilly.
Yeah,
coming back. First game on the mound.
Him to be
he needed 17 pitches. 17 pitches to strike out the side.
I don't think anyone expected him to be back that quick, and just kind of like Batman just popped out of nowhere and is just shoving, like, looks great. So yeah, again, if I'm really any baseball team, but let alone somebody in the SEC, I'm like watching Tennessee, and then I see him come out. I'm like, dude, we're doing this again this year? Like, great. Yeah. You're like Liam. Fucking, I mean, like, it's just they're doing what we said they needed to do. It's bring this new talent in and show everybody how much of a dog they are. And again, I know the Sanford series got close a couple times. Same with this week, but I know we're going to preview a Houston trip, and that'll provide some bigger talent, so you at least get a stage to actually have some backbone into what you're saying.
Yeah. Liam Doyle is leading the country in strikeouts, and you have A.J. Russell is probably the best pitching prospect in college baseball, getting ready to make his tear on SEC play, because he hasn't, the other 2 years he's been here, hasn't really pitched much in SEC play. Didn't get to it all last year. So ready to see him in a starting role in SEC play. And I I don't know how much he pitches in Houston. I imagine not that much. I think he had 5 batters that they were going to give him in that first inning, and he was like, "Hey, I only need 3. I'm good."
Good sign.
Yeah, 3 strikeouts, 17 pitches is what he pitched. Yeah, just good to see him back in a Tennessee uniform on the mound, throwing that heat. And yeah, it's going to be fun to see kind of him, Doyle, Marcus Phillips, Tanner Franklin, Ryan Combs. And then you had Tegan Coons. He made his Tennessee debut. Actually got the win against North Alabama. He looked good, gave up a walk, had a strikeout in an inning and a third. Dylan Loy, you saw him get back on the mound for Tennessee this season. So Tennessee's getting healthier at the pitching rotation. So I'm excited to see kind of how that works out, and excited to see just better competition this weekend in Houston.
Yeah, so you're more in touch with baseball than I am, I guess. I know Sanford series was never really in doubt, but I know you just kind of got caught slow. And then I guess this week's game would be more of the highlight because I know the bats just got cold. Obviously, been looking basically flawless so far. Everyone looks great. It's good to see these younger guys like Levi Clark, true freshman, just being a dog. Where are you like a little on edge? Where do you think there might be a little gap that still needs to be, whether it's this weekend that, you know, you kind of fill it in and boost some confidence, or it's later towards conference play? Where is it?
That's a great question.
There might not be
I'm
one.
just
That's why it's
yeah.
got cold. But
I'm kind of more excited to like see Tennessee just like pitch their guys. I mean, it's cool to pitch like everybody in a midweek game. I'm ready to see kind of like, let's see Liam Doyle, Tanner Franklin on Friday, Marcus Phillips, Nate Snead on Saturday. Let's see some AJ Russell. Let's see some Tegan Coons on Sunday. I think the pitching staff is where I'm kind of most confident a little bit right now. I think Tennessee's going to put up plenty of runs. I just question a little bit like that middle of that lineup has to produce a little bit more.
yeah,
It needs to be like Andrew Fisher's got he's got to hit the ball a little bit better. Maybe he does once it warms up a little bit and he's getting actual SEC pitching. Maybe it just takes he just needs to get a little bit more competition to get him going. Cannon People is like he's going to have to start hitting the ball if he wants to keep that spot one, because Stone Lawless is like, I'm coming for it.
yeah.
And Tennessee doesn't throw out a lot of runners anyway. So, if you can manage the staff and give Tennessee more of a bat, like that's going to be your starting catcher.
Love it. What are we looking at this weekend?
So this weekend, Tennessee faces Oklahoma State tomorrow night. They've had a rough go. They started out, they played in one of those showcases. They lost to Texas, lost to Texas State, lost to Clemson. They beat Louisville. So they're a borderline top 25 team, but just lost some of those games early in the season. Then you play Rice on Saturday. On Saturday. They're 2-5 on the season. They beat USC and Sam Houston. They lost to Arizona, lost to Virginia. So pretty much anybody that's decent, they've lost to at this point. And then you get Arizona on Sunday. I mentioned they have beat Rice. They lost a close one to Ole Miss to start the season. They got beat pretty bad by Clemson. Got beat pretty bad by Louisville, but they did sweep San Diego and beat Rice in the midweek. So, I mean, it's not just like a gauntlet Tennessee has to go through, but Oklahoma State can score some runs. So I'm interested to see kind of how that works out with Tennessee's pitching. Also, can Tennessee put up the runs in a big league ballpark? I mean, that's going to be something that people are keeping an eye on. But yeah, I like this team so far. I like what Reese Chapman's doing toward the bottom of that lineup. I like Dean Curley at that leadoff spot. I like Gavin Keelan. I just think you need to produce more runs at times. Like Tennessee needs to, and there's games where they have blown it open, but you're also playing different guys here and there. I'm ready to see kind of this lineup tighten up a little bit this weekend. Let's see more everyday Jay Abernathy and Levi Clark and who's kind of going to win these position battles is going to be interesting. How are you able to keep some of these freshmen off the field, like Manny Marin and, I mentioned Jay Abernathy and Levi Clark. Stone Lawless is a redshirt freshman that's playing really well. But yeah, there's Chris Newstrom's another guy who's played well as a freshman. So they got some dudes. I think Hunter Inslee's been Mr. Consistent for Tennessee. They just kind of been steady. They a couple guys that will have 2 hits, a couple guys will have 1. But no one's just a 5-for-5 game so far. So I kind of want to see Tennessee kind of break out in some of these games with having more consistent lineup. And then also the pitching should continue to shove, I think.
Yeah, dude. How about Texas A&M? Didn't have that on the bingo card.
Yeah, man. They got hit with that injury bug again.
Wasn't it Cal Poly in Texas State or North Tech or something?
Yeah, Texas State, Cal Poly. Yeah, jeez. Yeah. They
talk about a post.
And I got fried on Twitter.
Did you really? This? Oh yeah, we're talking about your replies, weren't you?
Yeah, dude. I mean, a lot of people liked it, I guess, but man, I just posted the top 5 teams that lost, and everybody's like, "Oh, you don't know baseball," and I just stated a factual thing. It wasn't I didn't say Tennessee should be number 1 because I just said they didn't lose and all these other teams lost. I mean, Cal Poly and Texas State, I mean, they're not juggernauts. LSU lost to Omaha.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
You can't lose to Omaha and expect to win in Omaha. That's crazy.
The people mad in your mentions are the people that were mentioned in that tweet, and that's Texas A&M, Virginia, LSU, Arkansas. I get it. You can if you want to make the angle where it's okay, Tennessee's not playing real talent. Cool. Stop pulling up from. Let me know when you go 65 and don't stop pulling up random. If you're offended, it's because that tweet's about you. All right, so chill out. It's just a stat. It's a fact. You didn't lie. It wasn't an opinion article. It was these are teams in the top 5 that lost this weekend. If you don't want to be on that list, don't lose. And Tennessee at one point will have a weekend where LSU can tweet, here's the teams that lost, and we'll be in there and we'll have fans that are chirping and shit talking. But guess what? We shouldn't because we shouldn't have lost that weekend.
Right. I'm well aware of how baseball works where a loss doesn't mean much. I am well aware.
Yeah, I love how
but I'm also when 4 of the top 5 teams lose in a weekend and Tennessee doesn't, I feel like that's okay to tweet. I don't need people on sad Arkansas and LSU fans all over my timeline. I mean, I understand they are jealous. And if you think you aren't, you are. You wish you had Tony Vitello. You wish you had, this rabid fan base who is absolutely would go to war for this baseball team. You wish you had that, but you don't. So take your L to Omaha and Cal Poly and Texas State and shove it. Because I cannot stand some SEC baseball fans. And they just think that their team is just God's gift to earth. Like Arkansas, you haven't won anything ever.
I just love that it's we're still fighting the Little League ballpark World Series.
Dude.
That is, it's their equivalent of a Super Bowl. And I'm like, that's awesome. And I love that you guys talk shit other than the weekend that you come play here and we still beat you and have more home runs than you.
Mm-hmm.
Why weren't you talking about that weekend? I thought it was a tiny park. Why didn't you guys hit 12 home runs in the series?
We literally won in Omaha. It's the biggest field in America.
I think that's the fact that we shouldn't even be talking about it because we're getting rage baited and it's working. But we made it happen in Omaha. You're right. Like it's you talk shit all year about the stage in which we did it on. We went and did it on another stage and kind of won the whole thing. So pick one, suck it.
Suck it.
Please do. And I love it. I just love people hating Tennessee. Probably one of the things that makes me like Tennessee the most. I love being hated.
Well, they do. They cannot stand Tennessee, and they want Tony Vitello back. So like they want him. Like Arkansas has this delusional mind that thinks that Tennessee is going to come crawling back to them when Dave Van Horn's gone. Guys,
nope.
I got news for you. He ain't coming back. He loves Knoxville, and I've been to Arkansas. I've been in that hellhole, and it sucks.
Yeah.
There's no way Tony Vitello leaves Knoxville to go to God, where even is Arkansas? Fayetteville, yes. God, what a shit town.
The Tin Roof is pretty sweet. But
Tin Roof is sick.
And the Yeehog place. But
yeah,
that was only because those drinks came in those little buckets. But we could do that. We can put drinks in buckets.
We should do more of that, I think.
Shithole. You gotta walk everywhere. It's way too long of a distance in between. It's too flat.
Tennessee's just too nice of a city. Like I do kind of miss like they have taken away the strip and there's no longer like all the bars are kind of gone besides Cool Beans.
Yeah, it's so weird. We don't really have a great like I would never ask anyone to come visit our campus for a bar crawl ever.
Yeah. I mean, we're like more of a brewery town now.
Yeah. Go hit some. You want to hit the old city. If you're like 25 and want to go rip some microbrewers, oh my God. Now we're talking about a bar crawl. I do think in like the next 5 to 10 years, the strip, first off, you can't even, it looks like 6:30 at night at 4 o'clock because the sun is nowhere to be found because all the buildings are just blowing up.
I do like Yeehaw, but the fact that there's no more strip means all the students go to Yeehaw and it kind of sucks.
I agree with that, but dude, if you're older, like the younger kids have their little bars and then like the older kids have Cool Beans and like we'll go to the old city, but like trust me, I don't want to go pay $12 for a large beer at Yeehaw either. So like I'm just gonna stick with what campus gets me because you got an Uber and it's like, yeah, you're gonna get some more students doing that, but I would imagine we'll start doing like what all the other big campuses have, and like where Zaxby's is now will get flattened and it'll be a 3. Like, dude, put a 3-story tin roof there. Oh my God.
Oh,
free money.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. You got the backyard for it too. You could push that, make that big patio that Arkansas one has. I mean, I'm just saying, if you're a land developer, hit us up. We've already got some. I mean, we got more.
We got some sick ideas
coming over at the entertainment facility. Yeah. This could be big.
All right. Well, let's finish up this show. Let's you got any stupidities?
Oh, I'm sure I do. Hold on. Maybe not though. Oh, this is in the golf world, so I won't harp on it too much because professional golf does get dramatic sometimes. So the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches, which I won't even go into the long story of the naming rights and everyone's all fired up of it. I don't know if you saw, did you see Jake Knapp shot 59 today at the course?
Yeah, I did see that.
So I guess everyone,
she was fired up.
Do what?
The wife reaction, she was fired up.
Yeah. But the whole thing with like because it was Honda Classic and then everyone's just flipping out now because the course is too easy. Since when has that been a problem? Like, okay, sweet. Like, yes, there are tournaments that I want to see like 3 under win. Like, I want to see the Open, the US Open. Those are scores that I want to see. Dude, the Honda Classic, the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches now. I would love to see a 33 win. That would be awesome. Are you kidding me? And the problem is, it's like Billy Horschel's coming out here complaining about it. Did you shoot 12 under? No. Go shoot 12 under. Like, if someone can do it, then all y'all can. And, like, trust me, like, look, I wanted an exciting leaderboard no matter what. But I think there's a couple tournaments each year that the course should just be I've been in favor for a while. I want to see one PGA tournament a year that they go play like a local, like come down to Iguani. I want to see just the lowest scoring we can get. I want to see the best golf. I want to see Eagles galore.
Yeah, I'm in. I hope to one day be good enough at golf where I complain about a course being too easy.
Yeah. What are we doing? don't start doing that. That's not fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy the easy. It's I'm sorry. Is it too easy to get paid millions of dollars?
Yeah, agreed.
What are we doing?
My I don't know. This isn't really a stupidity. Is Jeffrey Yawn, I guess,
Oh yeah.
the pitcher for the Rockies?
Yeah.
I mean, this man is doing like a full split on the mound when he strikes somebody out. And I was like, is he like a young player? I was like, surely he is. I mean, this guy is just like a minor league dude.
No,
Like
he looks
he's 28 years old, never really pitched in the majors. And I mean, I guess he's just enjoying every bit of spring training because I mean, this dude strikes somebody out and is doing a full split and playing air guitar on the mound.
I do love. I love that it's like those guys. I don't know if you ever saw the video, but the dude hits the home run and like climbs up on the cage in the Dominican Republic and like really climbs like 15 feet up it. It's funny. Wouldn't want to see it outside of spring training. I would be absolutely pissed if he did that to my team in an actual like professional setting.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The Juan Soto of pitching.
Yeah, that's
like the people. That
I
hate
don't
Juan
know if it's a
Soto,
stupidity. I think you're like teetering that line of like, dude, if somebody gets a bomb off you and they do that at home plate, like, oh dang.
You know it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Any more stupidity?
No. Shout out.
I don't really have any stupidity. I just have a lot of cool stuff that happened.
Lay it on me.
Amir Khan, did you see McNeese State? Their manager.
Oh, walking in the locker room.
And he's like, I mean, rapping. Oh, dude, that is electric.
God.
And Amir Khan is like, that makes me think of backyard baseball. That was one of the players, Amir Khan. Yeah, it was one of the brothers.
That's awesome.
It was like
Dude,
Ahmed and Amir Khan.
That's a vibe guy.
Yeah, he's a vibe for sure.
That's your job as a manager.
And then Ryan Rimbizes, I don't know how you say it. He threw a perfect game for Portland. 9 innings, 0 hits, 0 walks, 12 Ks, 86 pitches.
Damn, I didn't even hear that. Shout out him.
Yep.
I don't know how
they won 8-0 over Seattle U. I mean, it's one thing to throw a perfect game, but be the team that you get thrown a perfect game on. Like, that has to be your only goal in the game in like the 4th or 5th inning. You're like, guys, we got to break this shit up. Like, it's got like somebody get a hit. Somebody lean into something where you at least take away the perfect game. We'll get shut out. Just don't have a perfect game. That's tough.
We lost 82-58, by the way. So I guess that
82 what?
82-58.
Ugh. And then Trey Smith got franchise tagged by the Chiefs. He will make $23 million for 1 year guaranteed, which is awesome, but probably would have got paid a lot more. But he gets to stay with the Chiefs, who's a winning team. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
You should threaten the transfer. I bet you get a higher bag.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good strat.
Tennessee should be able to franchise tag one person.
I've been saying that.
Every year.
Yeah.
Who would you franchise tag?
Right now?
See, I think that's why you need a 2-year contract. Then after that, you can franchise one player.
Damn, I don't know.
I think I franchise tag Boo Carter.
Yeah. I mean,
Or maybe David Sanders.
Healthy, yeah.
Huh?
Okay, if Jermod McCoy's healthy, if David Sanders,
Yeah, probably Jermon McCoy. You're probably right.
yeah, realistic. But again, I mean, I don't know if David Sanders is the dog he's supposed to be. Yeah, I'm going to go with that all day.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's not a saloon door like our boy Lance Hurd, but. Sorry.
Damn it.
It is what it is.
All right. Anything else before we get out of here?
Nope. Go Vols.
Awesome. Go Vols. Yeah, Joey, well, I'll see you hopefully on the big screen at some bar that I watch the game at.
If I'm getting kicked out, it's not me.
Do you paint up for these games? Are you one of those guys?
No, and I won't do it today, and I don't really probably should never do it because I've got my own beef with our Rocky Top Rowdy fan group that they pick. It wouldn't be too friendly. I can do it off camera, but no, I don't paint up. I have friends, so. But yeah, I'll still be loud and I'll be saying some absurd stuff. So catch me on the Tron.
There you go. All right, guys. Big weekend for Tennessee. Baseball's going to Houston. You have Tennessee basketball, obviously Lady Vols as a rebound from that loss to Kentucky. And yeah, let's go claim a 1 seed. That's what I want. That's what this weekend's all about. Guys, thank y'all again for listening. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.